The story begins in the 16th century, in a small village in England. We learn that this story is inspired by the life of William Shakespeare. We are first introduced to Agnes, the main female character. She lives a very simple life, close to nature. She has a special connection with animals, especially birds. She can understand them and feel their presence. This unusual gift comes from her mother, who was known in the village as a strange and feared woman, often called a witch. On the other side, we meet William. He is a quiet and humble young man who loves reading and writing. He works with his father but also teaches Latin to Agnes's younger siblings to help repay a debt his family owes. One day, William is seen waiting near a window, looking nervous, as if he is expecting someone. As soon as he sees Agnes passing by, he quickly follows her. It's clear that he is already drawn to her. He approaches her and starts a conversation. Agnes quickly realizes that he is the new Latin teacher. When she asks why he followed her, William gets nervous and says he was just outside for fresh air and became curious when he saw her with her falcon. He asks for her name, but she avoids answering. Still, he gathers some courage and hints that he likes her. Suddenly, Agnes takes his hand. William gets confused and asks what she is doing, but she says nothing and pulls away. When he asks if they can meet again, she calmly says it will be difficult. Then she leaves him standing there. Later, we find out that Agnes has a special ability. When she touches someone, she can sense their true intentions and even see small glimpses of their future. When Agnes returns home, her stepmother starts questioning her. She asks where she has been. Agnes says she was at the farm taking care of animals, but her stepmother keeps asking, especially about the Latin teacher, because the children said he suddenly left the lesson. Agnes denies seeing him. We also learn that William's father is a glove maker who owes a heavy debt to Agnes's family. That's why William teaches their children. When William returns home, his father insults him badly. He calls him useless and compares him to the children he teaches, saying they are more responsible than him. He even attacks his pride and manhood. Finally, William speaks up and reminds his father that he is teaching only to repay his debts. But instead of calming down, his father gets even angrier. At that moment, William's mother asks if he has met anyone from that family, especially their eldest daughter, Agnes. She warns him about her, repeating rumors from the village, that her mother was a witch and that Agnes behaves strangely, talking to animals in the forest. To avoid trouble, William lies and says he has never met her. The next day, William meets Agnes again in the forest. He brings her a pair of gloves he made so she can handle her falcon more easily. Agnes thanks him and immediately understands that he came with good intentions. Before anyone sees them, she tries to leave, but William follows her and admits that he knows who she is. She asks if he means her mother being called a witch. Calmly, she says she is not ashamed of her mother. Instead, she learned many things from her. While she speaks, she notices William struggling to talk. She teases him playfully, saying she thought he was confident, but now he can't even speak properly. William admits that he sometimes finds it hard to express himself. So Agnes suggests something simple. If he can't speak normally, he should tell her a story. William begins telling her a Greek myth about Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus was a talented musician who fell deeply in love with Eurydice, and they got married. But soon after, she was bitten by a snake and died. Heartbroken, Orpheus went to the underworld to bring her back. He played music so beautifully that the rulers agreed to return her, but with one condition: she would walk behind him, and he must not look back until they both reached the outside world. Orpheus started walking, believing she was behind him. But slowly, doubt began to grow in his mind, especially when he couldn't hear her footsteps. Just before reaching the exit of the underworld, Orpheus loses control. He turns back to look at Eurydice, and in that moment, he loses her forever. Agnes is deeply touched by the story. Slowly, she starts feeling closer to William. She takes him into the forest and shows him how she collects herbs, just like her mother taught her. Then she places a plant on his head and explains that this helps her understand a person better. In that moment, she becomes sure that William is kind and has no bad intentions. From there, their love begins to grow stronger day by day. Ever since meeting Agnes, William cannot stop writing. It's like she has awakened something inside him. He starts writing poems inspired by her. A few days later, William comes to her, nervous but determined. Without wasting time, he confesses that he wants to marry her. He says he won't let anyone else take her, and that he will soon speak to her family. Agnes feels happy but also worried. She tells him that her family will never agree, but William stays confident and says nothing will stop their love. Sometime later, Agnes arrives at William's house while pregnant. When William sees her, he is shocked. His mother assumes that Agnes was thrown out after the truth came out, but Agnes calmly says she left on her own. William is confused until his mother reveals the truth. Agnes is carrying his child. When questioned, William finally accepts it. He admits that the child is his and that he will marry her. His mother becomes furious and threatens to disown him if he marries Agnes. But his father sees it differently. For him, this marriage is a solution. It will clear his debts and save his reputation. He convinces Agnes's brother that marriage is the only way to protect her honor. Later, Agnes's brother Bartholomew talks to her privately. He asks if she truly loves William and wants this marriage. Agnes answers honestly. She loved him from the very beginning. She reminds him of their mother's advice to always follow their heart. She is sure that William loves her too. Hearing this, Bartholomew agrees to the marriage. For the first time in a long while, Agnes feels real happiness. Soon after they get married, months later, while still pregnant, Agnes goes alone into the forest to give birth, following the old natural way. The pain is intense, but she survives and gives birth to their daughter Susanna. When William arrives and holds his child for the first time, everything begins to change. His responsibilities grow heavier. Tired of constant insults, he finally leaves his father's work. As time passes, William feels lost but also driven. Writing becomes his only escape. He spends most of his time alone, trying to express himself. But when he cannot write, he becomes frustrated and angry. One day, his shouting even wakes his daughter. Agnes rushes in, worried. She asks what's wrong, but William hides his writings and says they are nothing important. At first, Agnes doesn't understand his behavior. She starts to fear that he regrets marrying her. But William reassures her. He tells her that she and their daughter are the best things in his life. Still, he admits that he feels confused about his future. Agnes gently comforts him and supports him through this difficult time. The next day, she talks to her brother. She tells him that William barely sleeps and gets irritated easily. Bartholomew asks if William treats her badly or has ever hurt her. She says no. He then explains that this behavior is common for a man under pressure, especially without stable work. But Agnes believes there is only one solution. William must go to London. Her brother is shocked. Agnes explains that London is full of opportunities, and William might finally find success there. She fears that if he stays like this, he may lose himself completely. She also reveals something important. She is pregnant again. Bartholomew becomes worried. He says this is the time she needs her husband the most, and distance could damage their relationship. But Agnes stays confident. She believes their love is strong enough. Soon, she shares this idea with William. He agrees and starts preparing for the journey. It will be his first time traveling, and he feels nervous, especially since he will go by river. Still, before leaving, he promises Agnes that he will return safely. Before leaving, William tells Agnes that if everything goes well, he will earn enough to buy a house and bring his family to the city. He then asks if she knows whether the baby is a boy or a girl. Agnes says she doesn't know. William reminds her that she once said she would have twins, but Agnes becomes serious. She admits that in her visions, she always sees those twins dying. Because of this, she quietly hopes the baby is not twins, afraid that her vision might come true. She helps William prepare for his journey, packing his things carefully. She avoids saying goodbye, holding on to the hope that they will meet again soon. But William cannot leave without a proper farewell. He hugs her tightly, then leaves for London. Agnes watches him go, even though it was her idea. She had seen a vision that his life would improve if he left, so he follows her wish despite the pain. As her delivery time gets closer, Agnes prepares to go into the forest, as she always does. But this time, William's mother refuses to let her go alone and takes her in to help her. During labor, Agnes suddenly panics. She screams that something terrible has happened, that William has died in the river. Everyone tries to calm her down, telling her that he is safe and even sent a letter. In the letter, William writes that he has joined a group of actors and started supplying them with gloves for their performances. Slowly, Agnes calms down and continues the delivery. She gives birth to a baby boy. Everyone celebrates, but then they realize something shocking. She is carrying twins. Fear takes over Agnes. Her old vision returns to her mind. As they prepare for the second birth, Agnes becomes emotional. She asks them to take care of her children, as if she might not survive. She remembers her mother's death and feels like she might face the same fate. Moments later, she gives birth to a baby girl, but the baby does not cry. They try everything, but there is no response. Sadly, they tell Agnes that the baby has died. Agnes refuses to accept it and asks to hold her child. They give her the baby, and suddenly a miracle happens. The baby starts crying. Agnes is overwhelmed with relief and joy. Her daughter is alive, and the dark vision has not come true. Years pass. The children grow up. The twins, Judith and Hamnet, are playful and mischievous. They often switch clothes and pretend to be each other. Agnes and Susanna can easily tell the difference, but they play along to keep the children happy. William also joins in, pretending to be fooled. One day, William surprises Agnes. He covers her eyes and reveals a small performance by their children. They act, sing, and dance beautifully. Agnes watches with happiness, proud of her family. We then learn that in London, William has started doing more than just supplying gloves. He begins writing plays and even acting on stage. This becomes the start of his journey as a famous writer, just as Agnes once believed. Back at home, Agnes teaches her daughters about nature, herbs, and healing, just like her mother taught her. Meanwhile, William teaches Hamnet how to fight with a sword. They train together, laughing and enjoying their time. Before leaving again for London, William warns Hamnet not to spend too much time with his grandfather, fearing he might treat him harshly. Hamnet feels sad that his father is leaving again. William comforts him and promises to return soon. He also gives him responsibility, asking him to take care of the family. That night, William suggests that next time the whole family should come with him, but Agnes refuses. She explains that their daughter Judith is sick and too weak to travel. Also, a dangerous disease has started spreading: the plague. She admits she is afraid for her children. William reassures her and promises that once he earns enough, he will buy land so they can all live together peacefully. The next morning, he leaves again, reminding Hamnet to take care of everyone. After he leaves, Agnes sits with Hamnet and takes his hand. Using her gift, she sees a glimpse of his future. She tells him that she sees him grown up, standing on a stage in London with his father. Hamnet becomes excited. He shares his dream, to become an actor, to fight with swords, and to hear people cheering and clapping for him. As time passes, the plague spreads everywhere, becoming uncontrollable. One morning, they try to wake Judith, but she doesn't respond. Agnes rushes to her and immediately realizes the truth. Judith is infected. The plague was one of the deadliest diseases of that time. It showed clear signs: high fever, extreme weakness, and painful swelling in the neck. Once it entered the body, survival was almost impossible. The house falls into panic. Everyone tries their best to save Judith, but deep down they know there is no cure. Mary tells Agnes to save her strength. She knows the reality. She herself once lost 3 daughters to the same disease. Quietly, she explains that no matter how hard they fight, the plague cannot be stopped. Once it enters a home, it destroys everything. That night, Hamnet goes to Judith. He is heartbroken. Judith, even in pain, tells him not to worry and to take care of himself. But Hamnet breaks down. He says he cannot live without her. Since they were born together, he refuses to let her die alone. He lies beside her and promises that he will stay with her no matter what. He even says that if a life must be given, he will give his own. The next morning, Agnes comes to check on them. She finds Hamnet lying next to Judith. As she tries to wake him, she realizes something terrible. Hamnet is also burning with fever. He is infected too. Agnes panics. She tries everything, using herbs, calling out to him, but nothing works. She begins to lose control, unable to accept what is happening. One by one, her children are slipping away. She keeps telling Hamnet that he will be fine, but his condition keeps getting worse. Soon, he can no longer fight. Slowly, his strength fades, and he dies. Agnes collapses in grief. Later, they prepare his body for burial. Judith, now slightly recovered, comes to Agnes and apologizes. She believes Hamnet died because of her, but Agnes stops her gently and tells her that it is not her fault. Through tears, Judith says that Hamnet sacrificed himself for her, and that she should have been the one to die. She then says goodbye to her brother. At that moment, William returns. Judith runs to him, but when he asks about Hamnet, no one answers. Then he sees him, lying still, wrapped in cloth. He freezes. Slowly, he walks closer and speaks to his son, telling him that he was brave and did not fail him. Agnes, broken with guilt, blames herself. She says she was so focused on Judith that she didn't even realize Hamnet was beside her. But William comforts her. He tells her that she did everything she could and that she should not blame herself. The next morning, William prepares to leave again. Agnes is hurt. She wants him to stay, but he says he must return to London. His work is waiting, and he has responsibilities. In truth, William is running from his pain, trying to escape through work and writing. A year later, his grief turns into art. His plays become darker, filled with sorrow and tragedy. Slowly, he rises and becomes one of the most important writers in London, his pain reflected in every word he writes. Eventually, he returns home, bringing gifts for his family. And this time, he brings something more. He has bought them a large house in the village, hoping to rebuild what they have lost. Even after everything, the distance between Agnes and William Shakespeare has created a gap in their relationship. William asks if her brother showed her the new house. She says yes, but questions him. Why didn't he take her himself? Finally, William admits the truth. He was afraid. Afraid that if he came back fully, he would never leave again. This hurts Agnes even more. She tells him she cannot leave their old home because it still holds the memory of their son. William apologizes deeply. He knows he left her alone in her pain and wasn't there when she needed him the most. But Agnes confronts him honestly. She tells him that he has always run away from pain, even when he was physically present. His real life now belongs to the theater. She reminds him that their son died without his father beside him, and nothing can change that. She then takes his hand. When he asks what she sees, she refuses to answer. Instead, she asks him to leave. The next day, William returns to London. There, he focuses completely on his work. He rehearses with actors again and again, but they fail to express the emotions he wants. Frustrated, William starts performing the scenes himself. This is when we learn he is preparing a new play, Hamlet. As he speaks the lines, it becomes clear this play is filled with his pain. Every word carries the grief of losing his son. Meanwhile, Agnes and her family move into the new house, trying to start fresh. Soon they hear news that William's father has passed away. Around the same time, Agnes learns that William's new play will be performed soon, and everyone is talking about it. She feels hurt that she was not told. The next day, Agnes travels to London with her brother. They ask people about William, and it becomes clear that he is now widely known. Soon, the day of the performance arrives. Agnes enters the crowded theater. It is her first time seeing William's work. As the play begins, she suddenly hears a name, Hamlet. She freezes. The name sounds almost the same as Hamnet, her son. Pain fills her heart. She cannot bear hearing it. For a moment, she imagines her son alive, standing on the stage with his father. Then she sees the actor playing Hamlet. And he looks so much like her son. Shaken, she still decides to watch. The story unfolds. Hamlet mourning his father, filled with grief and anger. Then William appears on stage as the ghost. He speaks with deep sorrow, revealing betrayal and death. At that moment, Agnes feels everything again. The loss, the pain, the memories. She realizes that William is not just acting, he is expressing their story. She quietly tells her brother, this is about their son. As she watches, she silently wishes William would notice her. And suddenly he does. Their eyes meet. For a moment, there is relief between them. William continues the performance, pouring his emotions into every line. Agnes can no longer hold herself together. She breaks down, overwhelmed. The play continues, tragedy after tragedy. Loss, madness, revenge, until finally Hamlet dies. The entire audience is left in silence, deeply moved. Agnes holds her brother's hand, sharing the same pain as everyone in the room. But inside her something changes. She finally understands William. This is how he deals with his grief. Through stories, through art, through pain turned into something powerful. And in that moment, she feels proud of him. At the very end, they both imagine their son standing on the stage, smiling, as if saying goodbye. And with that emotional moment, the story comes to a powerful end.